The Crow es una película estrenada en el año 1994 que pasó en la fama por un fatal accidente que terminó con la vida del protagonista Brandon Lee durante la grabación de la película. A pesar de este trágico accidente, se decidió seguir adelante, utilizando un doble, escenas oscuras y efectos de computadora. La película se presentó como un homenaje al actor y se puede ver un mensaje dedicatorio al final de la película. A finales de 2008, se anunció un remake del Cuervo, que sería dirigido por Stephen Norrington, con una fecha de estreno del año 2011. Sin embargo, Norrington abandonó el proyecto y en abril de 2011, el director español Juan Carlos Fresnadillo fue anunciado como el reemplazo de Norrington. El actor elegido para interpretar a Eric Draven en la película sería Bradley Cooper, cuya carrera iba en ascenso por esa época. No obstante, Fresnadillo abandonó el proyecto, y se anunció que Javier Gutiérrez entraba como su sustituto en enero de 2012.
What was the deal finally with The Crow? Because I know there's a lot of ups and downs.
There really weren't that many ups and downs. We were talking about doing it because of Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, who I'm such a massive fan of, and then timing didn't work out, and then he just dropped out of it also. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
La intención de Gutiérrez era que su película fuera una adaptación directa del cómic. Primero, Tom Hiddleston, actor conocido por interpretar a Loki en las películas de Marvel, fue considerado para el papel, pero fue Luke Evans quien sí entró al proyecto de manera oficial. Julio de 2014, Gutiérrez firmó un trato para dirigir la película The Rings, abandonando el proyecto. En diciembre de 2014, Corin Hardy fue anunciado como nuevo director del remake, casi al mismo tiempo que se anunciaba que Luke Evans abandonaba el proyecto.
What is happening next is I'm directing The Crow, which is a dream come true. It's a project that it's a film and a graphic novel that I was obsessed with when I was a teenager, and it's very special to me, and to be given the chance to do a new version of that coming from the graphic novel is, I couldn't have hoped for more, really. I'm really excited about it.
Originalmente, James Sobar, creador del personaje, se opuso a un remake de la película, alegando que nunca se podría superar la película original. Sin embargo, su postura se volvió menos rígida al respecto, al mismo tiempo que anunciaba a los nuevos protagonistas de la película.
The reboot, the big pink elephant in the room. Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not really a reboot. It's there really isn't a proper word for it. A reimagining is probably closer, but it's this new film is going right back to the book, right back to the source material. It's not a remake of the Brandon Lee film. It's an adaptation of the book. Obviously there are a lot of similarities. So it's not going to just completely ignore the Brandon Lee film, but it's just going to be an entirely different animal altogether. Probably be closer to Taxi Driver than what the Brandon Lee film was. No stylized violence, and like I said, it's going to be a page per page adaptation. With all the visual metaphors, the horses and the trains and barbed wire and empty chairs and open windows, and so I just came from LA straight here. I went to Relativity Studios, who's producing it, and spent 4 days with the director. And I'm delighted with it. It's the first time I've ever been in. I've worked on a lot of movies, not a lot of them I'm proud of, but it's the first time I've ever sat in a boardroom with like 15 producers, and they just shut the hell up and let me talk. No one interrupted me. You know, they wanted to know what I needed and what the director needed to make this happen, you know, to make this a good film. And so I have a really, really good feeling about it. They have a phenomenal star, Jack Huston, who most of you probably know from Boardwalk Empire. He's just an incredible actor. I couldn't believe he agreed to do it. He was just, I thought he was, you know, kind of like out of, it's like, you know, why don't we get Michael Fassbender to do it, you know? It's just like, well, he doesn't do those kind of movies, you know? He doesn't do these small budget genre movies, you know? So I'm really happy with Jack Huston. The director is very talented, Corin Hardy. And, you know, everything, you know, this is the first time in 3 years where I feel like this is actually going to happen and it's really, really going to be good. You know, they've given me, you know, the only film I worked on with the others, so the previous Crow films was the first one. And I asked for director approval, casting, and I know the casting and control of the soundtrack. And I got all those, and I asked for all those things this time, and I got all those again. So I'm excited about this, and I'm looking forward to it. And it looks like it's actually going to happen this time. You know, I know you guys know Luke Evans was attached for a long time, and Luke. You know, I don't want to say, I like Luke, he's a gentleman, very sweet guy and very talented actor. But he agreed to do this movie almost 2.5 years ago for scale. You know, scale for a lead actor in a Hollywood film is about $500,000, which really isn't that much, you know, considering he's the star of the film. You know, in the meantime, now he's getting $6 million a picture, and you know but right up until the time his contract elapsed, he was still absolutely willing to do it for scale. He was very enthusiastic about it. So I don't have anything bad to say about Luke dropping out. You know, he's just got so many offers now that. You know, and when he dropped out, they still couldn't give anybody a start date. So I don't blame him at all for dropping out. You know, and actually I think it worked out for the best, because I think Jack Huston's going to be he'd be even more commanding, because he's very subtle. He's very internalized. He's very feline. You know, I mean, he's not a bodybuilder or anything like that, but he's very commanding, and he has this really, really nice way. If you've seen Boardwalk Empire, the character he plays in it is he's a wounded World War I veteran where half of his face is blown off, so he wears this plastic mask over half of his face, and without a doubt, he was my favorite character on that all 5 seasons of that show. And just, you know, the way he could, with body language and just half of his face, the way he could emote pain and hurt was just incredible. You know, you had total empathy for this guy, even though he was a merciless killer. You know. So you know, I'm very, very happy with Jack, and I think he's going to be perfect. You know, and, you know, I told them, you know, look, Brandon was like a little brother to me. I loved him, and I would never, ever do anything that felt like a betrayal to him. So, and they all agree, you know, that first Crow film is this, you know, perfect little gem as it is. The idea is not to try and repeat that, but to go back to the source material, you know. So the analogy I've been using, it's like, you know, the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula versus the Bela Lugosi Dracula. You know, it's the same book, but they're 2 entirely different films. You know, and they're both valid. So.
Finalmente todo parecía marchar para el remake, pero justo antes de que iniciara la producción de la película en julio de 2015, Relativity Media, la compañía que producía la película, se tuvo que declarar en bancarrota, lo cual puso en pausa el proyecto por un tiempo indefinido. En agosto de 2016, Jason Momoa publicó en sus redes sociales una foto con Hardy en su cuenta de Instagram y un mes después fue anunciado oficialmente como el protagonista de la película. A pesar de la evidente pasión y emoción que tanto Momoa como Hardy tenían por el proyecto, por un año no se supo nada, hasta septiembre de 2017, cuando Sony Pictures fue anunciada como la distribuidora de la película. Pero aún así no sucedió nada, y en marzo de 2018 tanto Hardy como Momoa abandonaron el proyecto de manera oficial. Hardy compartió su frustración con este suceso pues ya había invertido 3 años y medio de su vida en este proyecto. Pero debido a desacuerdos creativos y financieros con Samuel Hadida, dueño de Davis Films, la compañía dueña de los derechos de la franquicia, decidió abandonar el proyecto. En enero de 2020, el proyecto fue revivido y comenzó su desarrollo, que culminaría 4 años después, con la película que recientemente fue estrenada. Esto quiere decir que han transcurrido 14 años desde que comenzó el desarrollo de la película, y queda ver si valió la pena tanta espera.